All right, so we're live here. So let me get my stats for the week. I still end up finishing up green on the week. Um, definitely pissed off by Friday's results. Monday was a holiday, so we didn't do nothing there. But Tuesday, I made $566.11, and I was just taking singles all throughout the week. And so really the trades that I'm going to go over um, for the week wasn't nothing really special, but more so the lessons that I learned on Friday. Um, so on Friday, I was actually down way more than that. I was down like over $2,300, and that was just from over trading or took a big loss, took two big losses, and started over trading because I was just like determined to get that number down. Like at one point, I was down $600 on the day, but I was trying to push just to get it close to like 300 or 200 just to try to keep it manageable. And of course, I started taking size, so that's what that hurt me there. So I took size. I didn't even. I was so pissed off. I didn't even put the trades in like in my spreadsheet. I'll definitely do it later on today through here. Alright, let me just pull up the trades. On Profitly, it said 950 something dollars. Let me just show you. Uh, it says 958.50, but I had two positions overnight that I started selling partial to, just taking small losses off of them. So that's why that number is higher. So it's gonna update on Monday when I exit out of those positions. But first trade that I want to go over is uh, ABML. So this was a potential first red day for me. That's how I had outlined it. So let me get the chart pulled up. And this is where I made the mistake at, right here. So the stock in the morning, it started, having some sell-offs. And normally on the first red day, what I like to do, I do like to wait, at least 2 or 3 cents, and that's something that I try to incorporate within my trading. Just be patient and let the trade happen versus me trying to anticipate it. So for this, I actually anticipated the break. I saw 230 was the red to green line right here. So this is a little um, white dotted line. So I took 5,000 shares right here on this candle here. Then it snapped a little bit and got to 229, but immediately on the level two, because I was watching level two, immediately on the level two, 230 reclaimed. Then someone skipped the bid. It was like 231, and the ask I think at the time was like 233. And just a slight hesitation because in my mind, like after seeing these plays like happen over and over and over again, like there's instinct that jump in your mind and just say, "Hey, you need to get out." And within that, like as soon as I saw the bid jumped up, I said that within myself. I was like, "Yo, you need to cut this right now. This is gonna spike." So in the midst of me just thinking like, well, maybe I should give it another minute or so, And so this is the minute that I gave up here, because this is a 1 minute candle right here. So within me just waiting for that 1 minute, this would end up happening, and I had to cut for a loss because I'm over here trying to input my order at 238 when I saw it still started spiking. But it just kept being moved up 238, 240, 245. I think I end up getting out all of it at like I want to say like 247 or something like that. But that is way, I'm in at 230 with 5,000 shares. So every penny that this goes up, that's $50. So a 10 cents move, that's $500. So I'm trying to keep my losses as small as possible. And with that, just one hesitation and me not just trusting myself after seeing these plays over and over again, not trusting myself just to cut it, because worst case scenario, if I was wrong and it would have slammed back down again, I could have easily got back in. I could have took a slightly manageable, two $300 loss off of the first red day, and had this dump, this would have gave a good opportunity, for at least 30 cents. 30 cents, that would have been like $1,500. Um, but no, instead, I got in right here. So the second play that I did on this, because once I saw the spike, I knew that this was going to continue. So once I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm going to wait for the first bounce. So the first bounce happened. Then immediately, like once I was about to input my order in, it had this little spike up to 250, 250, then 251, 252, right around here. And of course, I chased it. So I got in right on this candle at 253, I believe, or on this candle, 253. And of course, and I had 2,000 shares at this point in time. And I said my risk level was going to be right here, which would have been a good which would have been a good risk reward. But at this point in time, I'm already down, I think like $600 or $700. I'm not thinking clearly. So this happened. I get in on a chase. Then on the chase, it starts reversing. I immediately cut for like right around here, so I lost another $200 just like within.
So you tried to
Yeah, I
long
tried.
it as well.
Yeah, I tried to long it as
Uh,
well.
that's always a
Yeah,
recipe for disaster.
exactly. Because this happened, I'm not thinking clearly. I'm already pissed off that okay, I'm down on the day and I'm down big. Because normally if I'm taking a loss, I'm trying to take maybe $200-300 at most. I'm here at
Mhm.
double, more than double. So took a a chase right here, and of course on the reversal candle. Um, and of course it ended up doing exactly what I thought it was gonna do. Because normally on this is what I started noticing, and it may not be, it may or may not be, but from what I've been noticing, is normally on the first bounces, and that's from just looking at your charts as well too, Rocky. So on the first bounces, especially if it's a breakout, it this thing tend to run. So first bounce, got in right
Oh
here, and
yeah, getting in on those good little pullbacks.
yeah,
You're talking about the
yep,
first pullbacks, yeah.
exactly. First pullback and just ride the momentum. It would have been a great trade overall, because afterwards, as you could see, this thing. I mean, I know I definitely wouldn't have last that long, but because I was just looking just for high days. Um, like on this bounce, I was looking to sell like right here.
Off the risk reward right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, this was just because I was already down, and I was thinking like P&L. Like I need
Mm-hmm.
to get that down, lock in profits, because I know in the afternoons I typically have some good opportunities there, playing the ascending triangle.
Yeah,
Which
I'm upset I missed that one, to be honest. I was watching it and I just like it was. I think I got caught up in ASTI and I completely missed ABML.
yeah, this was, when I mean great opportunity, because I just seeing it on the level
Yeah,
too, because I even thought about as soon as I finished covering to go ahead and go long, but at that point in time, I'm covering way up here. Had it
Mhm.
still been in, had I covered early, definitely would have been a good long opportunity because this bounce and these are shorts just trying to cover. And of course, they covered all the way to the 62. So this is a 30 cents move. So 5,000 shares, or even 2,000 shares, 1,000 shares. I mean, this is a $300 move with just 1,000 share right here. And more shares you get, of course, the higher it is. So this was and overall, like after just replaying, because that's one thing that I like to do when I make like bonehead mistakes. Like I do like to just sit back, just close my eyes and just replay that scenario, that trade, how it's feeling. And that's one thing that I could say is, I just didn't listen to myself because as soon as I started reclaiming, because it happened, because normally on a red to green move, if it's gonna die, it's gonna die. There's no wait, I'm about to die. Then nope. Like normally, if it does a move like this, like it's dying, then it pops back up again. 9 times out of 10, this stock is not dead yet. So, so of course, I frustrated about that. So that was in the morning. So already, I think just between these two trades right here, I think I'm down $900, and that's after commissions and all that. I'm down like $900. So I have this rule: if I'm down $1,000 on the day, I cut myself off. But I wasn't. Today was like, for I don't know, for some reason I was just like, man, I gotta make this back. I took two trades, market just open, and I'm already down 900. Like I gotta make this back. So I just begin to overtrade just random tickers. And one thing that I noticed for me too, like playing the ascending triangle, and I said this on the last video, playing the ascending triangle in the morning oftentimes does not work for me. So guess what strategy I try to play in the morning? The ascending triangle. And that just caused more uh
Just pain.
yeah, just more pain. Like, and it was like I'll be, then then I was down like $1,300. Then I got it down back to 900. Then I got it down to then made a stupid loss. Now I'm down 1,200. Then 1,000. Then 800 and 600. Back down to 1,000. Like it just like that's the game
Yeah,
that I
you
was
were just
playing.
playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you was
So
gambling at that point.
I, yeah, and that's the frustrating part because in my mind I was thinking like, okay, worst case scenario is that I'll lose the week progress that I complete, and that wasn't the best
Yeah, that's a terrible
strategy.
mindset.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
horrible. So
yeah.
so I guess all yesterday I did 25 trades, and what really put me down to 2,500 was I mean 2,300 on the day was I end up VUZI. It said that I traded 14,000. That's the total of all the trades that I did with it. So it got, yeah. So this just let you know how
I
much,
added in there.
yeah, how much I traded this stock. And I was trading this, normally I don't trade higher price stocks. If I do trade higher price stock, I'm doing maybe, like 400 or 500 shares at a time. And if it's a really good setup, I'll do 1,000. So with this, I was trading this 3,000, 4,000 shares at a time. And I was playing it with the ascending triangle. And I'm like, okay, if I do 4,000 shares, get a quick 25 cents pop since this thing has range, um, then I'll be able to get out of the hole real quick. And this is the area that really got me in trouble. So for the ascending triangle, I definitely love this action. The quick parabolic spike followed by the decline in volume. So this is how I had the triangle set up, and I even in my mind when I was looking at it, like, yo, this is not a good setup. And the reason why I said this is not a good setup for a triangle is the dumping. Like, I mean, just looking at this on the chart, you could, I think it was like right around here. Like, you could kind of see it, but at the same time, when you try to draw your lines, when I try to draw my lines, like, I'm over here forcing, and I'm like this. And if I draw this right here,
It
and
still doesn't line up.
yeah, like it still doesn't line up. So of course, I try to change to 5 minutes. That's exactly what I did. Like, I changed to five
You
minutes.
trying to make a trade.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to make a trade, and I'm like, I'm so in between here. I kept trying to buy the break because I know if it breaks here, it's gonna test like the 1280, 1281. And not only, and just to back up, the reason why this was up was because of GameStop, GME. So I even traded this as well too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where GameStop is at 76. Where it was just at like 13,
yeah,
like a couple months ago.
exactly. So GameStop, I traded this. Like, I bought it. This is like when you know you're in trouble. You're buying parabolic stock. You know, it had this drop here from after it unhalted. Then it had this halt up. So I bought it like right here,
Oh my
$72.
god.
Yeah, I bought it.
Oh my god.
I bought 50 shares. Yeah. I bought 50 shares at $72 and 80 something cents. On this candle, actually, $72 and 80 something cents, and I sold at like $75 and like 10 cents or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, like
you
that
should catch yourself. Catch yourself. I'm glad you know even though that you won, that's like one of those pointless trades. That'll get you
exactly.
in real trouble.
Yeah, I made $100 on this trade, and
I made $100.
yeah, $100 on this trade, and it didn't really do anything to the mess that I was in. So I had this up just to watch VUZI, and I started trading it on this bounce because I was actually hoping that this could have bounced more, because had this bounced a little bit more, then those trades would have probably worked because I was buying it on this break. You see where that little wick is at? I was buying here. Then I was selling here. Then again, here's the break again. I was buying here and I was selling here. So these are losses that I'm just accumulating right here with big size as well. 3,000 shares. Um, 10 cents drop. That's $300. So I think on this one I end up getting slippage. So I end up like losing like $500 on this one. So 500, 300. So that's $800 in between these two trades, and I'm already down. I'm already down. I think at the time I was down like I think I was down $1,000. Thanks to the GMI, I was down 1,100. Thanks to GameStop, it dropped me down to 1,000. So lost here, and I had this bright idea because I think they dropped some type of news like right in between here. I'm like, I'm just gonna play the VWAP. I'm gonna buy this because now it's above VWAP. So I bought it right above VWAP, and of course I had to cut it right here because I think I did more size. So at this point in time, this is when I decided, like, yo, you are down 2,300, and I had inputted this into my
You
formula
probably was
here.
just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
When you
and
seen 2,300,
yeah,
because that's ridiculous.
yeah, and once I put that in there and it dropped, because this is how much I'm up on the month. I'm up now $6,224. I was up 7,000, but once I put this number in and I saw that for the week I was like negative 1,000. Um, and it was like I was only up like 4,000. I'm like, yo, you are tripping. So I was like, okay, so you're gonna get one more trade in you. Like, I still wasn't done. Like, if like I joke about it now, but this is the meme. Let me see if I can find it. This was the meme that I was thinking of. Like, this was literally me in the stock market. This was me. Like I'm like, yo, I didn't hear no bell. Like the market ain't closed yet,
Said, said I'm going to the better end.
bro. And
every
yeah,
every second I can make some money, I'm trying to do it.
exactly. Like I'm over here just getting beat up. Just getting beat up on the day. I'm like, I didn't hear no bell. This is me. I'm getting black eye, bloody nose.
Said 2,300. That ain't nothing.
Yeah.
I can come back.
So I was like, yo, you have one more trade in you. And and this is just a lesson that I think that just need to be embedded
But
in me.
do you see how like that? Go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you see how that trickling down effect affected your mindset. Just yeah, you had that loss in the morning, but it was only $600. In
Exactly.
perspective, $600 is really nothing to you. All you had to do is wait, patient, and like that's something we talked about before with you in particular.
Yeah.
As a trader, less is more for you. Like
Yeah.
that's how you gonna start growing exponentially. And then you got back into your bad habits. And that's the reason you had your $1,000 day because you probably took 25 trades. That's not
Yeah.
what
Twen-
you. That's not how you get your money.
exactly. Because on those other days, I'm only taking like four, maybe three or four trades.
Yep.
So
So
like
you could
these
tell when you get
days,
outside your normal.
exactly. Yeah. So with this, and another thing too, like after I take that loss, and this is when I'm gonna start implement. If I take any big loss, minimum I need to take a 20-minute cooldown because I took the loss. I'm still in front of the computer. I'm still in front of the computer, and I'm looking for trades. Versus having a trade
Say
come to
it
me.
really depends on the setup because sometimes let's say we have a first red day and like you get caught early buying a panic dip buy,
Hmm.
but you believe in the pattern because like you have so much conviction, and you know what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't say you have to. Depends on the setup
What
or
the
just you
hell?
personally.
Oh
Yes.
my bad. That's my phone. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, no, no, yeah, I do see what you mean because there've been times that
Yeah,
that uh that
be down
happened.
and then like it's there, but if the opportunity is there, you shouldn't be scared to take it just because you took a loss.
Right. But I'm saying it more in like if I take like a huge loss, like you need
Okay.
to just clear your head because for me, at least for me though, like for me, that loss is gonna, it's gonna plague my mind, and that's what happened
Uh,
on that.
Yeah, I feel you.
But I and I could see it both ways. So I definitely would just have to find a balance because I would have been mad had it did that spike then came back down and went red, then boom, there go the opportunity miss. So I see it from both angles. But after the after the loss for me, after I was down like $2,300 and I saw that how much I gave back, I think that's what really clicked. And I was like, you have one more trade in you, and this is going back to what you're saying, less is best. Like then I put a restriction on myself, like, hey, this is it. So you better make sure you get it right this time. And this came out with a perfect ascending triangle. Like it had this big spike, volume just died down. Not only that, this VUZI announced some news about a drone. So I had a couple of positive factors working for me. Then I'm looking at it from this angle here. So it's ascending, and it had a double bottom here. Nice double bottom here, double bottom here. So it's like everything that I'm looking for an entry. Not to say that over here it didn't, but it just wasn't time because the spike happened. You need you just need the time to be able to consolidate. Consolidate all these gains right here because there's a big move from 10 to 12 in a matter of like, 10 minutes. So this was the part that I didn't do. Let it have the time to be able to consolidate and let that come to be able to play out. So once it did this part, drew my lines, my double bottom, and as soon as it popped over here, and I actually chased it a little bit, I got 3,000 shares right here. So I went with big size. So I was like, worst case scenario is I'll lose maybe, worst case scenario I'll lose another $300, and that'll put me at like $2,600 on the day. 2,600 on the day. For a loss.
That's way too much.
Yeah.
That's
But
way too much.
I was like, yo, this one, like I felt because at this point I was like, this one is it. So once it got over here and it held the VWAP, and I just started seeing, and next thing you know, you just see green candle after green candle. So I'm the one who calls this red candle right here because I'm selling. I had 3,000 shares. I'm like, dump. I see people I'm dumping because I figured this was my train of thought. I figured that it was gonna at least come here and test these highs that it couldn't break, and I was just selling it. I first sold in peace because I was assuming it was gonna come right here, have a pullback, retest it, and I'll go re-add those shares that I had. But it just kept spiking, and I was like, "Yo," and the whole time I'm thinking like, should I take it or should I not take it? So mine in my head, something popped in my head like, "Nigga, you down, you down $2,300." So then I'm like, all right. So I just started
You said,
selling.
man, look,
Yeah.
yeah, at least you got that to knock it off some. That's one thing I will say. Like, even though it was $1,000, that's still like manageable for you. Like, that's not a week's worth of work. Like, you
Right.
should never be losing a week's worth of work. Like 2,300, that's weak.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a week worth of work. So
Yeah, that's way too much.
yeah. So after
At least 1,000, that may be 1 or 2 days, but
yeah,
like,
and I'm just glad that even though, um, I did this to myself, and I think that's one thing too that I see a lot of traders. I won't say a lot of traders, but I see that some people won't do is take the responsibility. They'll be like, "Oh, the market maker this, market maker that, manipulation this, manipulation
you
that."
did it.
Yeah, like
You did it.
yeah. So this was all me because I didn't have to. I'm the one who's doing the buy, doing the sell. So
Yeah.
I dumped everything here. I was down 950 or something like that on the day, and I told Rocky, I was like, "Look, I'm done for today." But of course, I really wasn't.
He said, I, he
I
said, I
end up
still winning.
yeah, I end up buying. I'm still holding this overnight. What is it, BTH? Oh, there it is right here. So I end up buying this, holding it overnight because it moved with GameStop. I bought this and the other one's not on here. Oh, and no, the other one's not on here. Well, it was two stocks that I bought overnight, just anticipating maybe a gap on on this, but this started going down pre-market, so that's why I started just selling some of my position just to reduce the size, reduce the risk. So, but yeah, so for me, those were the lessons because everything really came on Friday. I did finally, and I did check my account this morning, so my transfer from my Cobra account is now in my E Trade. So I will be doing the E Trades, the OTCs, smaller OTC plays starting next week if there's any opportunity there. But that's pretty much it for me. So I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I'm getting it pulled up right now. All right. Yep, I can see it.
All right. So this week it was a shortened week. We didn't have Monday, but still, I would say fairly decent. Only had a one red day, which was the $226, which is that's very very manageable. It's under that's really under like my majority of the days of the amount that I make. Normally I range around like 500 now, which is kind of crazy just looking back, like just throughout my progression throughout the months. But pulled in 1200 this week, like consistent week. It's still not still what light years away from like where I really really want to be, but you got to start small, and you continually grow. Uh, you continually get to be led to growth over time, and it was much much better than my last week, which you see I only put in 800. So just coming back from that week that I had last week, and bringing in more of a consistent week. Cool. The one thing, my biggest problem that I would say this week that I had was just not letting my winners really, really win. I believe. Yeah. I see. I really only had not very big percent gains at all, and I really didn't trade that much at all this week, except for what day was that? Except for Thursday, really did not trade that much at all this week. I took two trades on Tuesday. Let me pull up. Yeah, two trades on Tuesday. It was just singles, nothing too special. Just like first pullbacks, and then sell it into the strength. Um, then I took an OTC panic dip buy. I still just locked in another single on that, but you see, it's only 8%, which is kind of like,
Nice.
it's still. I mean, it's nice, but it's just like I know through data tracking that my percent win should be a little bit bigger than me. So it's just me getting kind of scared in the trade. Like this should easily be six. It should be a $600 P&L win
Hmm.
based off of the setup. But because I was just feeling emotional during the trade, I was really just cutting off my winners short this week. Um, the big there's really not too many lessons for this week, I would say, because it was really just a manageable. I was just managing this week. Yeah, there was opportunities. There was a lot of opportunity, and I just felt like I missed a whole bunch. But sometimes that happens. I still pulled in like a decent week for me, and for my level, just worrying about myself. For me right now, I feel like it was a decent week. Do want to go over it because I didn't get a chance to post the day where I really started over trading, which was maybe the most. If there is a lesson of the week, it would be on Thursday, where you see it says 400, but I actually only pulled in $242. And the problem with this day was at some point of the day I was up $600 ASTI, And that if you look into my ASTI, just my executions, you see it offered a panic dip buy. Okay, I got in on a dip, sold because I saw it was turning. Tried to re-enter right here because I'm thinking it's a higher low. Once it retested and did just double bottom, I immediately sell because I don't play double bottoms. Then seeing that it was reaching, it started really basing right here because if you know, well, you would know from experience if it has a big green volume candle right here on the chart already, and then we get a test the bottom again and it goes lower. Normally, the second time is the true bottom, and that's what I did right here. But again, I'm really frustrated about this sell because if you look at it, like it was
Ooh.
within that same wick. Like
Yeah.
it was just me being kind of paranoid, just like not letting my winners run, and that was something that see how much was on the table,
All right.
and I only took took that small piece, which is that's a flaw in my trading. Just getting too emotional and knowing, and even though I have the data behind it, I know that I should be at least making 10 to 15% on this setup, and 10 to 15% was easily given to me, and I didn't even sell like just because of any weakness, like any signs of weakness. I just sold just because, which is like that's a flaw. Real traders don't trade just because they see P&L, and that was a case where I did, where I cut my winner short just because I seen like got happy. I seen like I think at the time it was maybe like 500 something, but yeah. Uh, then other things that I can go over. Yeah, another one, Bent. See, this was another one where just wasn't very convicted in the trade, and this was a one where because I missed my original entry, because normally I want to enter these stocks around the 130 area for the best risk reward, and I did end up entering right around here. I don't know why it's not showing, but I entered right around 0.022, and then you see how I made this double bottom again. I didn't respect my risk, and then Bent ended up spiking up, and then I tried to end up chasing it on this side. So this was another like just a forced trade because I already had it right here,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't respect my real risk of that 0.022, which was like I think I was only gonna lose like $70, but I didn't respect that risk, and I ended up not even capturing this move, even though I knew this was the potential on this setup. So that's one thing that really just pissed me off this week. Uh, yeah, I just ended up kind of just getting like some scalps right here. I think I actually ended up losing money on this trade just because I couldn't get all my orders off in time because I saw that it was a whole lot of selling pressure at the time. But I will say I did one thing I am proud of this week is just managing my losses. No losses. All my losses have been under control. Even yesterday, even though it was a red day, um, the I only took two trades and I was wrong on both of them. But because I was wrong on both of them, but I'm completely okay with being wrong because I managed my risk. So on OPTI, if you look at the it's right here. If you look at the daily chart, you see that we had a breakout on the 20th, but we have a breakout with very light volume. So I was trying to play it for that continuation into the next day, and I got in with the idea of you get this panic down below, but I got in risking trying to get in on this green red mark right here, and I got in actually at point 144, and immediately, like when you're in stuff like this, it should immediately start working. Like you shouldn't get a retest of the bottom, and that's the sign I should have been like, all right, I need to sell these shares because it's clearly not working. But I still was able to manage my risk on this trade, and it still was cool. It wasn't nothing too like detrimental. Didn't let it get to me because I knew there was going to be some type of bounce. I didn't sell into the weakness. I took the Tim Grittani approach, if that's the thing. If guys listening know who Tim Grittani is, so I knew better than to sell at the dead bottom because one, the chart is telling me that it has major support right there, so people are going to be buying there again. I knew that I was just going to try to sell at my max loss limits. And even though I did take a max loss on this trade, which I do not like taking a max loss just because this is not the setup for taking a max loss. If I'm to were to take a max loss on the setup, it needs to be like a breakout, like a real clean breakout. Not in any other setup, I shouldn't be taking a max loss. And my max loss, if you're wondering, is 4.33%. I calculated that just from seeing all the average gurus losses, and that's the number that they average out to. And if you guys know who LX21 is, Greg, he's a great trader. He also says you should never have your losses above 5%. So that's just something I took to note with my trading style. Knew better not to sell into this initial like the bottom of this panic, and I knew just to respect my risk, even though I had my sell order already in when it passed under this green red line. You know, there's maximum panic, and this is where everyone is selling. This is where all the newbies are selling. So you don't want to do what everyone else is doing. You have to, conserve and be act like you've been there before. Be that trader you want to be. I knew it was going to eventually bounce. I sold all of my shares. Sold some. I got some at point 137, and then I got my other shares off at point 137. I really could have sold higher. Not thinking about in retrospect, but that was my max loss. So I just tried to get it off the table. And then on this following day, yeah, another day. I only two trades this day, and both of them were losses pretty much. I took SMPW, which is I'm looking forward to this for a Monday or a possible panic because now we get going to 1, 2, 3 green days. Maybe it might even have another green day because it finished kind of sideways ish this day. But this was another trade that I just missed during the midday. But there's a reason I missed this trade. So right here, I come back in the afternoon looking for potential afternoon setups. Right off the bat, what do I notice about SMPW at this time? Right around 1:15 is just when I come back and start looking. Right around, first thing I notice is I see a basing right off of its high of yesterday, which was at 0.075. Continuously just holding that base right here, right here, right here, right here. And I also know for a fact that high of the day is 0.098, and technically 20% off of this stock would be 0.0784. And normally when stocks are green on the day and they have a pullback of 20%, when they're down 20%, they bounce depending on the stock. And it varies for everything, but you'll be able to tell which stocks has the potential to bounce or not. But right here in this moment, since all of this consolidation was happening right above this high, that was a sign for me to like really get in. And I completely missed my entry on this because it happened be after 1:30. And I told you I was trying to respect my rules as the best as I can. And I kind of forced this trade, I will say. So right here we get 1:30, but my style is trading is I'm only will pay for this stock if I get a under that 20% off mark, which that 20% off was 0.074, 0.0784. And by that time it was above. So I was just like, I completely let it go. You see it starts thinning up, and then we get that pop. So really the best place I should have entered this stock was a little bit earlier than 130 because it offered the best risk reward. Right here, you see it's under 7.5. It was that low of the day at the time. I entered in at 0.077, somewhere right around there. If it gets under 7.5, boom, I'm out. If it goes above, I know I have at least a chance of making 10% just from the way the stock moves. And boom, you get that little 10% spike. But I was I played this stock again, and I got in right here at 0.082. I don't know why I got chose 0.082, but after it broke 8, I was just like, okay, got in at 0.082, and I'm just gonna risk over 0.08 and risk. I was risking mainly off of this little sideways consolidation because that with a 0.082 average, the most that I could lose was 0.0. I think, yeah, it was actually 0.07 something. Uh, I think it was 0.089. So right there with the average, the most that I could lose was pretty much the bottom of this channel, which was cool with me. And this stock, it just was not doing what I wanted it to do. Like it had several times to break over this key level, which would if you were watching the the level 2 and sell time and sales, you could tell that 0.085 was the key level because it needed to break 0.085 to get over this high and potentially touch that 0.09. And then I tried to stay as patient as I could in this trade. It touched 8.085, came back down to 0.08, touched the 85 again, and when it got towards like 3 o'clock ish, I was just like, all right. I gave this time this I gave this stock way too much time by not to be showing me any signs of buying power, and I have to remember to look at the daily chart. And on the daily, if you look, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of green. Other traders might remember that, so there might be a lack of buying power, which there was, and since there was not any like big volume candles, like big green signs or indicators showing me that people are buying this stock, I got out for a small win. I think I sold right at 0.083, and I got my loss down to 226 bucks. And it was cool just because like these days, the winning days, I really don't learn as much on because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
But the most valuable lessons I always get is when I do lose because they stick with me. And this was just a reassurance that my trading style, yes, I lost, but my trading style it works because it's um it has a foundation of risk management behind it. Like, I'm never trying to put myself in a position where I can lose more than a day's worth of work. And in this scenario, like $200, like that just pretty much canceled out these 2 days, and I ended up still making what I normally would make in a week.
Nice.
So that's pretty much all I have for this week. Thing that I'm looking at going into next week, I would say, I'm looking at SNPW for sure, ABML for sure. For all of these, I'm looking for first red days. By the way, I do believe on Mondays, first red days are trickier. There's a statistic actually that I've been looking at, or just been finding through that data tracking that normally first red days happen on Tuesday. That's just through data tracking that I've been looking at. But yeah, those two got a I got an eye on OPTI, even though I don't believe in it much now because again, it's not showing me any signs of volume, like very strong volume. And I like playing stocks that give me good signs to buy it, and it's not. Um, gotta keep an eye on TSNP just because it's so strong. But again, see that's lacking in volume, and it's kind of too it's too soon for it to be breaking out this to new highs again. In my opinion, I also got an eye out on COUV. See, it's finally had a little perk. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and OZSC. This one is interesting because it's going to all highs. So
Yeah, and hopefully ABML. I actually want to see it keep going.
yeah, I think it might have another day in it. Like
Yeah.
it definitely still looks on the front side. Like there hasn't been any pullback yet. So
And the best thing about it too, it's a 4-letter ticker. it ain't the F ticker.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't gotta worry about the F ticker either. So yep.
So if
It gets like 5, and then if it gets to 5, you can actually think about getting one of those real big pullbacks.
Exactly, like a CYDY.
Another one of those, I'll be so happy. But another thing to note is like, okay, what to expect on that first red day. Okay, we already had a first red day on ABML back in December, where we have these 3 continuous days where it was 33 all the way up to a high of 133. I mean, my bad, 150. But the thing that you want to notice on that first red day is how these first red days, but we get to the high of 153, or actually 154. Now, because I know that stocks normally they move, it's going to move similar because the same people who've been promoting it and manipulating it are still the same people like driving it up. So on this first red day, how big in percent did it fall down? That's what I would be calculating. And I'll just take 154, put it in my percent calculator. See how low it went and look at 107, and I'll look at 123. So we see off the top this round, it got pulled back 107, right? That's the area where it was really keying. It got all the way down to 1 because that's a psychological number, but pretty much in range of that 107 and below. And because it pulled back 30% on this one, I would be expecting the same thing to happen on the next first red day as well. But that's all I have.
Hey, I wouldn't mind a 30% pullback.
So yeah, for sure. Me neither. Bro, my eyes be lighting up as soon as I see all that red, bro. Like them lift dives.
Yeah.
Like I get so happy.
Yeah, and one thing that I think I need to probably do better at is the like holding them. First red day, and stop instead of waiting for the second red day, I could take a smaller position and just hold it overnight, because statistically, it especially
come with a second red day.
Yeah, come with a second red day versus me trying to fight it, trying to slam it as soon as the market open, and because I see a lot.
I thought that was just because of broker issues. Like I know it's more expensive to hold them overnight.
Not with Cobra Trading. It's actually free.
Okay.
No overnight fees.
I didn't even know.
That.
That's fine.
So I'll probably take the meat of the move the first day, then right at closing just take like a small position, like no more than $1,000 share position. And if it does continue to keep going, then I could always slam. I could be able to afford to chase a little bit, and that way my average is not going to be as bad, because a lot of times I see those second red days. If it didn't dump really hard the first red day, the second red day it's like a bloodbath.
Yeah,
So
for
that
sure.
so that's what I'm gonna be looking forward to next week, and also just trying to play the first bounce on the OTCs. Trying to keep my wrists, not having a meltdown day, because one day could have literally killed my whole month had I just had something went wrong. So getting back on the horse Monday, just being level headed, take singles when I
And
see them.
relaxing. Take regular size.
Yeah.
Yeah, then go at it.
But that's pretty much
I'm
it
like,
for today, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this and got some lesson out of it.